Captain Aaron had always dreamed of visiting alien worlds, but nothing prepared him for the splendor of Valeria. The planet shimmered under a violet sun, its skies streaked with bands of gold and crimson. He had arrived as part of a diplomatic mission, sent to establish relations with the Valerian royal court, a place known for its strict rules and ancient traditions. Humans were considered outsiders here, clever but unpredictable, and many of the alien nobles eyed him with suspicion. The royal palace rose from the cliffs like a crystal fortress, its spires reflecting the sunlight. Aaron stepped onto the grand marble terrace, trying to calm his nerves. His human uniform felt oddly heavy under the weight of alien eyes. Every movement seemed to be watched, every gesture analyzed. He could hear whispers behind jeweled fans, and the faint hum of Valeria's strange music filled the air. Despite the tension, Aaron felt alive. He was here to represent humanity, and he would do it with courage. Inside the palace, a grand hall stretched as far as Aaron could see. The walls glowed faintly with a natural bioluminescence, and intricate carvings told stories of Valeria's past rulers. At the far end, standing on a raised platform, was the object of his mission, the Valerian princess Lyra. She had hair like spun silver and eyes that gleamed like polished amethysts. Her gaze swept across the crowd, sharp and observant. Aaron felt a flutter in his chest. He had faced dangerous missions, hostile aliens, and cosmic storms, but this was new. Meeting royalty in person was something entirely different. The reception began, a careful dance of etiquette. Aaron tried to follow the rules he had memorized, bowing when required, speaking when addressed. Yet no matter how hard he tried, a sense of unease lingered in his stomach. He knew Valeria's politics were complex, and one mistake could cost him more than just embarrassment. Suddenly, a ripple of tension passed through the room. Aaron noticed a figure moving oddly among the nobles, too fast, too precise, too silent. Something was wrong. Before he could react, a glimmering blade flashed near the princess. The attacker was fast, but not fast enough. Instinct took over. Aaron lunged forward, pushing Lyra out of the way. The blade struck the floor with a loud clang, narrowly missing him. Gasps filled the hall as guards rushed in. Aaron's heart pounded, but he held steady. The princess, though shaken, did not scream or faint. She looked at him with wide eyes, something like surprise and curiosity shining in them. "You are human," she said softly, her voice calm but carrying a note of wonder. "You acted without hesitation." Aaron straightened, brushing off his uniform. I couldn't let anyone harm you," he replied, his voice steady. The hall had grown quiet, and all eyes were on them. In that moment, Aaron realized that he had done more than save a life. He had made an impression on the most important person in Valeria. The guards detained the would-be assassin and cleared the hall. Whispers spread quickly. Aaron noticed some of the alien nobles frowning, while others looked impressed. The princess stepped down from the platform, moving closer to him. She held out a small pendant, glowing faintly with an inner light. "Take this," she said. "It is a token of trust. Do not lose it." Aaron accepted it, holding the delicate object carefully. It was warm to the touch, unlike any human-made device he had seen. "I will guard it," he promised. He felt a strange connection, a sense that this pendant was more than just jewelry. It was a sign that their fates were now intertwined, though he could not yet understand how deeply. As the reception continued, Aaron noticed Lyra watching him from across the hall. There was a quiet intensity in her gaze that made him uneasy, yet intrigued. He returned her look, trying to convey respect and sincerity. No words were exchanged, but an understanding passed between them, a spark of recognition that went beyond their worlds. When the event ended, Aaron returned to his quarters, exhausted, but exhilarated. The pendant glowed softly in his hand, and he wondered about the princess who had dared to trust a human so quickly. He knew this was only the beginning. Valeria was a world of beauty and danger, of politics and secrets, and now for the first time he felt that he was no longer just a visitor. He was part of something larger, something that could change both their worlds. That night, as he looked out at the violet sky, Aaron whispered to himself, "I want to know her. I want to understand her world, and perhaps one day stand beside her." Somewhere in the palace, Lyra turned in her chambers holding her own pendant, thinking of the brave human who had saved her life. Neither of them yet understood what their future would hold, but both felt the pull of destiny drawing them together. Aaron woke early the next morning, the pendant resting against his chest. It seemed to hum faintly, as if it held a secret he could not yet understand. His mission to Valeria had been diplomatic, but now he sensed that the planet's surface held dangers far beyond political intrigue. Reports had come in of a group of space pirates who had stolen a shipment of advanced Valerian technology. The technology was vital for the planet's defenses, and if it fell into the wrong hands, it could put entire star systems at risk. Aaron was asked to lead a small team to retrieve it. It was dangerous, but he did not hesitate. He prepared carefully, checking every detail of his equipment. His team consisted of 3 humans and 2 alien specialists. They were cautious, respectful of the local customs, but Aaron could sense the aliens doubted him. Humans were known for boldness, sometimes recklessness, and they were about to face a threat that demanded precision. Aaron studied the reports, noting patterns in the pirates' movements, weak points in their defenses, and the environment they had chosen. Every decision counted. The journey to the pirate base was long and tense. Aaron's ship moved silently through asteroid fields, dodging patrols and natural hazards alike. The alien specialist whispered about probabilities and protocols, but Aaron thought differently. He looked for opportunities where others saw danger, possibilities others considered impossible. When one asteroid field seemed impassable, he plotted a daring course through it, banking on timing and human reflexes to carry them safely. The team held their breath as they passed through, and when the ship emerged unscathed, even the skeptics looked at him with new respect. Finally, they approached the pirate base, a sprawling station hidden within a broken moon. It was guarded, but not perfectly. Aaron devised a plan that combined stealth, distraction, and speed. They split into 2 groups, one to draw attention, the other to secure the stolen technology. Aaron led the second group, moving silently through the shadowed corridors. Every step required careful calculation. He thought not only about traps and guards, but also about the lives of anyone who might be caught in the crossfire. The pirates were clever, but humans were unpredictable. Aaron and his team used unexpected tactics, turning the pirates' confidence against them. Guards were diverted by feints and holographic decoys, giving Aaron's team the chance to reach the vault. When they arrived, the stolen technology shimmered inside its containment unit. Aaron felt a surge of relief, but he knew the mission was far from over. Extraction was always the hardest part. As they began the return, alarms blared. The pirates had realized their mistake and pursued them. Aaron's team moved with precision, but the chase was relentless. Asteroids flew past, laser fire cut through the void, and the ship shook under impacts. Aaron stayed calm, guiding his team with steady commands, relying on human instinct and quick thinking. When one of the alien specialists panicked at a critical moment, Aaron intervened, showing patience and confidence. Together, they executed a daring maneuver that left the pirates trapped behind a collapsing asteroid field. When the danger passed, Aaron finally allowed himself a breath of relief. The stolen technology was safe, the team was unharmed, and Valeria's security was restored. But beyond the mission's success, Aaron felt something deeper. He had faced impossible odds, and humans had once again proven that courage, creativity, and determination could overcome even the most advanced alien threats. Before returning to the palace, Aaron sent a secure message to Lyra. It was a simple note. Without pomp or ceremony, the mission is complete. I am safe, I hope you are well. He did not know if she would respond, but sending the message felt necessary. Somewhere he hoped she would understand that his thoughts often returned to her, even in the midst of danger. When he finally stepped back onto Valeria, the palace seemed different. The walls, the lights, the bioluminescent carvings, they no longer intimidated him. He had faced the unknown and come through. The whispers of the court now carried a hint of respect, as nobles learned of the human who had successfully retrieved the stolen technology. Aaron felt the shift in perception, but he cared little for recognition. His mind was on Lyra. That evening, Lyra arranged a private meeting. She was waiting in a small garden illuminated by soft violet light. The air smelled of alien flowers, unfamiliar yet strangely comforting. Aaron approached cautiously, unsure how to read her expression. Lyra studied him with quiet intensity, her eyes reflecting pride and something more. Curiosity, perhaps admiration. You returned safely, she said simply. There was no need for praise. Her voice carried a note of understanding that mattered more than words. You faced what even seasoned Valyrians feared. I saw your courage, your mind. Aaron smiled faintly, feeling a warmth in his chest. I did what anyone would do for life, and for those who trust me. He hesitated, then added softly, I hope you trust me. Lyra stepped closer, the light of the garden glinting on her pendant, a subtle echo of the one she had given him. I do, she said, almost in a whisper. More than I should. For a moment, silence held between them. It was a fragile, unspoken connection, one that bridged worlds, species, and experiences. Aaron realized that Valyria had changed for him, and he had changed for it. More importantly, he felt the pull of something new, something personal, something he could not yet name but knew would shape the days ahead. As he left the garden, pendant in pocket, Aaron felt a strange certainty. His mission had proven his skills, his bravery, and his resolve. But more than that, he had begun a journey that went beyond diplomacy or duty. Somewhere in the vast alien world of Valyria, a connection had started, between a human and a princess, that would grow stronger with each challenge, each choice, and each moment of trust. The next morning, Aaron walked through the palace corridors with a mixture of anticipation and caution. Lyra had asked him to join her for a private tour of the royal customs and traditions. For Aaron, it was both an honor and a challenge. Valeria's culture was complex, with rules humans rarely understood. A single misstep could be seen as disrespect, and he knew he had to be careful. Yet he was determined to learn, to show that humans were not only brave but respectful and adaptable. Lyra waited in the garden, her silver hair glinting in the early light. She smiled as Aaron approached, the hint of mischief in her eyes revealing that this lesson would not be easy. Today you will learn more about Valyria than any human has ever known, she said softly. But be warned, our ways are subtle and mistakes can be costly. Aaron nodded. I am ready, he replied, his voice steady. Inside, he wondered what he had gotten himself into. They began with simple things, greetings, gestures, and the proper way to move in the presence of nobility. At first, Aaron stumbled, bowing too deeply or misplacing his hands. Lyra watched patiently, correcting him gently. Not all mistakes are visible to the eye, she said. Some are felt, in the balance of your presence. Despite the challenges, Aaron adapted quickly. He noticed patterns in Lyra's instructions, understood the subtle meanings behind gestures, and gradually moved with a confidence that impressed even her. She had expected difficulty, yet he surprised her at every turn. Lyra's eyes shone with quiet admiration, though she did not let him see it fully. As they walked deeper into the palace, they entered a hall filled with holographic displays of Valyria's history. The stories of past rulers, their victories, and their failures were projected in shimmering light. Aaron paused, studying the images. Your people have faced many trials, he said. And you survived them all. Lyra's gaze softened. We have, she admitted. But sometimes I wonder if survival is enough. Humans, you have a way of seeing possibilities we do not. It is fascinating. Their conversation was interrupted by a minor scandal. A nobleman had mistakenly insulted a visiting envoy by mispronouncing a ceremonial phrase. The room grew tense and arguments flared. Most humans would have panicked, but Aaron acted quickly. He used his understanding of language, logic, and diplomacy to clarify the misunderstanding. His words were simple, honest, and firm. Slowly, the tension eased and the nobles began to nod in agreement. Lyra watched silently, impressed by his composure. You handle yourself well in difficult situations, she said afterward. I see courage, yes, but also wisdom. For the first time, Aaron felt the weight of her respect. It was different from admiration for bravery. This was recognition of his mind, his character. He felt a strange warmth in his chest, realizing that the princess did not see him as a mere human outsider, but as someone who could stand beside her, even in a court full of powerful aliens. The afternoon brought new challenges. Lyra took him to a ceremonial garden, where the aliens practiced meditation and precise movement as part of their daily ritual. Aaron attempted to mimic the motions, fumbling at first. Lyra laughed softly, the sound like music. You are persistent, she said. Persistence is rare among humans, yet it suits you. By the end of the day, Aaron had learned more than he expected. He understood not only the gestures and customs, but also the values behind them: respect, patience, observation, and awareness. Lyra led him to a quiet balcony overlooking the palace city. The violet sky stretched infinitely, dotted with distant stars. "You have done well today," Lyra said, her tone almost gentle. "You understand more than most Valerians would, yet there is still much to learn. Are you ready for what comes next?" Aaron nodded, feeling a mixture of pride and humility. "I will learn," he promised. "For your people and for you." Lyra studied him for a moment, her expression unreadable. Then she handed him a small glowing crystal. "This is a symbol," she said. "A reminder that understanding takes time, but courage and honesty guide the way." Aaron accepted it carefully, feeling its warmth seep into his hand. "I will not forget," he said. He looked at Lyra and realized that his feelings for her were growing beyond admiration. There was a connection forming, subtle but undeniable, that went beyond human or alien boundaries. As the sun set, painting the sky in shades of gold and violet, Aaron and Lyra walked back toward the palace. The corridors no longer seemed intimidating. The palace no longer felt alien. It was a place of learning, of challenge, and now perhaps of connection. That night, Aaron lay in his quarters reflecting on the day. He thought of Lyra's smile, her words, and the careful way she guided him through her world. The human heart, he realized, could adapt, learn, and even thrive in alien ways. And more than that, it could feel something deeper, a pull toward someone extraordinary, someone who saw him as more than an outsider. In the quiet of the night, Aaron whispered softly, "I want to understand you, Lyra. I want to be worthy of your trust." Somewhere, across the palace, Lyra held the crystal close, thinking the same thing. Two worlds, two hearts, slowly moving toward each other, bound by courage, curiosity, and the promise of something extraordinary. The palace was quieter than usual that morning, but Aaron sensed tension in the air. He had grown accustomed to the polite whispers of the Valerian court, but today the murmurs carried an edge, like the warning hum of an approaching storm. As he walked through the corridors, he noticed Lyra speaking quietly with her advisors, her expression serious. Something was wrong, and he felt it deep in his chest. Later, in the garden where they often met, Lyra motioned for him to sit beside her. Her silver hair shimmered in the pale sunlight, but her eyes were clouded with worry. "There is a threat, Aaron," she said softly. "A member of the council seeks to control my decisions. They want to force me into a marriage for political power. If I refuse, they may act against me, against us." Aaron felt a chill run down his spine. He had faced pirates, danger in the void, and hostile worlds, but this was different. This was cunning, deliberate, and close to home. "We will stop them," he said firmly. "No one will hurt you, Lyra. Not while I can act." Lyra studied him for a long moment. "It is not just physical danger," she said. "They have influence, spies, and allies who move unseen. One wrong step could ruin everything. You must be careful." Aaron nodded, feeling the weight of responsibility settle on his shoulders. This was no longer about diplomacy or protocol. It was about survival, trust, and courage. He would need to think like the council, anticipate their moves, and act before they struck. The first sign of the plot appeared the next day. A confidential message intended for Lyra alone was intercepted and altered to make it seem she was betraying allies. The council members began questioning her loyalty, spreading doubt and fear. Aaron examined the situation carefully, piecing together the subtle manipulations. He realized the conspirator was testing their resolve, trying to provoke mistakes. "I can help," Aaron said quietly. "We need to act, but carefully. We must uncover who is behind this before they move again." Lyra nodded. "I trust you," she said, and there was a weight in her words that made Aaron's chest tighten. It was not just trust in his abilities. It was trust in his judgment, his courage, and his heart. Over the next days, Aaron and Lyra worked in secret. They observed council members, studied their routines, and noted patterns. Aaron's human perspective proved invaluable. He noticed details the Valerians overlooked: a glance that lingered too long, a step taken in shadow, a hesitation in speech. Slowly, they began to see the web of conspiracy forming around them. Then one evening, disaster struck. A message warning Lyra of danger was intercepted, and the conspirator decided to act openly. Guards loyal to the council moved to detain her, planning to force her into the arranged alliance. Lyra barely had time to react before Aaron appeared at her side, ready to defend her. Stay close, he whispered, taking her hand. Together they moved swiftly through the hidden passages of the palace. Aaron led her through corridors only he could navigate with certainty, avoiding patrolling guards and traps. Every step required careful thought. Every decision could mean success or failure. When they reached a secure chamber, Aaron paused to catch his breath. Lyra looked at him, fear and gratitude in her eyes. "You came for me," she said, her voice trembling. "Of course," Aaron replied. "I won't let anyone harm you. Not you, not your people." His words were simple, but they carried strength, promise, and unwavering resolve. They waited in the chamber, listening to the movements outside. Aaron devised a plan to expose the conspirator without putting Lyra in more danger. Using subtle misdirection, he arranged for evidence of the plot to be revealed to the entire council. The conspirators' allies were forced to act recklessly, revealing their intentions. Within hours, the threat was neutralized and the conspirator was publicly exposed. Lyra finally exhaled, relief flooding her features. She turned to Aaron, holding his hands in her own. "You are extraordinary," she said softly. "Not just brave, but wise, thoughtful. Human in ways I could not have imagined." Aaron smiled, though exhaustion tugged at him. "You would have done the same for me," he said. "Or maybe even better." Lyra's eyes sparkled, a mix of admiration and something deeper. "Perhaps," she said, "but you acted without hesitation. That is rare, even among Valyrians." For a moment they simply stood together, the palace around them quiet. The danger passed. Aaron realized that this ordeal had changed more than just the political landscape. It had strengthened their bond. He had proven not only his courage and intelligence, but also his loyalty and trustworthiness. Lyra had seen him at his best, and he had seen her vulnerability and strength. As night fell over Valyria, Aaron and Lyra remained in the chamber, speaking quietly of small things, of hopes and fears. The palace no longer felt like a maze of intrigue and danger. It felt like a place where two hearts could meet, even across worlds and cultures. Aaron knew that greater challenges awaited them, but for the first time, he also knew that together, they could face them, beyond politics and danger. A connection had formed, one built on courage, respect, and the beginning of something extraordinary. The palace was quiet in the early hours, but Aaron felt a sense of urgency in the air. Despite their previous victory, the conspirators' allies were still active, hiding in shadows, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Lyra had been cautious since the confrontation, moving only under protection, yet danger lingered like a low hum. That morning, news came that Lyra had been kidnapped by a hidden faction loyal to the council, intent on forcing her into the arranged alliance and removing Aaron from the picture. Aaron's heart pounded, but there was no hesitation. He gathered his team immediately. 3 human specialists trained in combat and infiltration, and 2 trusted alien allies who understood Valeria's secret passages. There was no time to wait for official sanction or careful planning. Every second counted. The kidnappers had moved Lyra to a fortified outpost in a canyon far from the city. Aaron studied the map, scanning for weaknesses, and then spoke clearly to his team. "We do this smart, fast, and precise. We get her out safely and we come back the same way we came. No mistakes." The journey was treacherous. Their ship weaved through narrow canyon paths, rocks scraping against hull plates, laser sensors blinking red as if warning them to turn back. Aaron's mind worked quickly, anticipating each trap, calculating timing and angles, adjusting course as new obstacles appeared. His team followed him without question. They trusted his judgment because they had seen him overcome the impossible before. When they arrived, the outpost appeared nearly impenetrable. High walls, patrolling guards, and energy shields created a daunting challenge. Aaron did not hesitate. He directed his team to create diversions, using sound decoys and holograms to confuse the guards. While the enemies chased false targets, Aaron led a small group to a hidden entrance he had spotted on the maps. It was narrow and unguarded, a passage the kidnappers had overlooked because they underestimated human persistence. Inside, the corridors were dimly lit, the air heavy with tension. Aaron signaled for silence, moving like a shadow. He could hear footsteps, muffled voices, and the faint hum of energy shields. At the end of a long hallway, he saw Lyra, her hands bound but her eyes alert. Despite her fear, she remained composed, trusting that he had come. "Lyra," Aaron whispered, kneeling beside her. "We're getting you out. Trust me." She nodded, a brief smile flickering across her face. I do, she replied. There was no hesitation, only confidence that he would not fail. Aaron carefully cut her bonds and guided her down the hallway. Guards approached, but Aaron's team was ready. Quick, coordinated strikes and human ingenuity disabled the remaining threats without serious confrontation. Aaron marveled at how his instincts and creative thinking gave them the upper hand, turning the impossible odds into a calculated victory. Once outside, they reached their ship, hearts racing, but Lyra remained calm. Aaron helped her aboard, ensuring she was safely strapped in before he took the pilot's seat. As the engines hummed, propelling them away from danger, Lyra looked at him with gratitude and something deeper. You risked everything for me, she said softly. Aaron shrugged, a faint smile on his face. I didn't think, I acted. That's what humans do when someone they care about is in danger. His words were simple, but they carried truth, courage, and sincerity. Lyra's eyes shone, admiration and emotion mixing in her gaze. You are unlike anyone I have ever met. Brave, clever, and selfless. I can see why your people survive where others fail. Aaron felt a warmth in his chest, more than just relief. He had faced countless dangers in his life, but saving her, protecting someone he respected and cared for, felt like a victory deeper than any mission or battle. It was personal, meaningful, and unforgettable. Back at the palace, Lyra was escorted to safety while Aaron debriefed his team. They had succeeded, but the experience left him thinking about more than strategy or duty. He had seen courage tested, trust confirmed, and a bond formed stronger than any political alliance. That night, Lyra found Aaron in the quiet garden where they often met. The stars reflected in her eyes and the air was calm, almost serene after the chaos of the day. She stepped close, holding out her hands, and Aaron took them without hesitation. You saved me, she said, her voice low but steady. Not because you were ordered to, not because it was your duty, but because you chose to. That choice. It matters more than you know. Aaron looked into her eyes, feeling a connection that went beyond words, worlds, or species. I would do it again, he said simply. And I would hope you would trust me when it matters most. Lyra smiled, a gentle curve that lit her face. I do trust you, she whispered. More than anyone else. Perhaps more than I should, but it feels right. In that quiet moment, the palace, the danger, and the political intrigue faded into the background. Two beings, human and alien, stood together, bound by trust, courage, and the shared understanding of what had been risked. The events of the day had proven something undeniable. Humanity could face danger, think creatively, and act selflessly. And, perhaps more importantly, it had shown that love and respect could grow even in the most extraordinary circumstances. Aaron held her hands, feeling the warmth of the moment and the promise of what was to come. They had survived peril together, and in that survival, something unspoken had begun, a bond that neither time nor politics could break. The path ahead was uncertain, but for the first time he knew that together, they could face it all. The palace was quiet that evening, the soft glow of Valeria's twin moons casting silver light over the gardens. Aaron walked slowly along the marble paths, his mind filled with thoughts he had tried to push aside for days. He had faced danger, outsmarted conspirators, and rescued the princess from certain harm. But now another challenge waited, one that could not be solved with strategy or skill. It was something far more personal. Lyra had asked him to meet her in the garden. When he arrived, she was already there, standing near a fountain that shimmered like liquid crystal. Her silver hair glowed under the moonlight, and her eyes, deep and calm, held a mixture of warmth and anticipation. Aaron's heart beat faster than it had even in the heat of battle. Aaron, she said softly, there is something I must say. He paused, studying her face. You do not need to explain anything, Lyra. Whatever it is, I will listen. She took a step closer, her hands folded before her. You have faced dangers I could not imagine. You have acted without hesitation to protect me, and in doing so, you have shown me the strength of humans. I admire you more than I ever thought possible. Aaron swallowed hard. He had expected many things, praise, gratitude, perhaps even friendship, but what he felt now and what he hoped she felt was deeper. He took a step toward her, his voice low but steady. Lyra, I have admired you from the moment we met. Your courage, your wisdom, your heart. I cannot keep these feelings hidden any longer. I dream of marrying you." For a moment there was silence. The only sound was the gentle trickle of the fountain. Lyra's eyes widened slightly, her expression unreadable. Aaron held his breath, fearing that he had overstepped, that his words might anger or shock her. Then she smiled, a small, radiant smile that made his chest feel lighter than it had in years. You speak with honesty and courage, as you always do, and I feel the same." Her voice trembled slightly, betraying the depth of her emotion. "I accept." Aaron felt a wave of relief and joy wash over him. The words he had longed to hear were finally spoken, and the future he had imagined for so long suddenly felt within reach. He reached out, taking her hands in his, feeling the warmth and trust that connected them. They stood together in silence for a while, letting the moment sink in. The palace, the court, and the political intrigues of Valeria seemed far away, distant and unimportant. In that quiet garden, under the silver glow of the moons, two hearts from different worlds had found each other. Lyra spoke again, her voice soft but confident. "There will be challenges ahead. Some will not accept this union. The council may resist and others may try to interfere, but I trust you, Aaron. And I hope you will trust me as well." Aaron nodded, his grip on her hands firm and reassuring. "I trust you completely, Lyra. Whatever comes, we will face it together." The night continued, and they walked through the garden side by side, talking quietly about hopes, dreams, and the future they wished to build together. Aaron shared stories of human life, the planets he had visited, and the things that made his world special. Lyra shared tales of Valeria, of her people, and the responsibilities she bore as princess. They laughed together, marveled at the differences between their worlds, and discovered the common hopes that connected them. For Aaron, the experience was overwhelming, yet simple. He had faced impossible dangers, solved impossible problems, and now stood beside someone extraordinary who had chosen him freely. For Lyra, it was equally profound. This human, so different from her people, had earned her trust and heart not through status or power, but through courage, intelligence, and genuine care. As the moons rose higher in the sky, Lyra paused and looked up at him. "I want the world to see this, to understand that humans are not what they are often thought to be. They can be brave, noble, and capable of love beyond reason." Aaron smiled, feeling a warmth that went beyond emotion. "Then let us show them," he said. "Not with words alone, but with who we are and what we stand for." The garden seemed to glow brighter as they stood together, the promise of their future illuminating the night. Neither could know all the trials that lay ahead, but both understood one truth. They had chosen each other, and that choice, born of courage and trust, was stronger than any obstacle. That night, Aaron returned to his quarters with a heart full of hope and a mind brimming with possibilities. The events of the day had marked a turning point, not just in his life or Lyra's, but in the story of humans and Valerians alike. Courage, trust, and love had bridged the gap between worlds, and the journey ahead, no matter how uncertain, would be faced together. The day of the ceremony arrived, and the palace of Valeria was alive with energy. Nobles from across the planet gathered in the grand hall, curious to witness a union unlike any before. Whispers circulated about the human who had won the trust of the princess, the one who had faced danger, uncovered conspiracies, and proven himself worthy in a world far different from his own. Aaron walked through the palace corridors, calm yet aware of the magnitude of the moment. His uniform was simple, but his posture and presence carried the confidence earned from trials faced and challenges overcome. Lyra awaited him in the ceremonial chamber, adorned in robes that shimmered like the night sky. Her eyes sparkled with anticipation and her silver hair glowed under the soft light. She looked at him with a mixture of affection, respect, and excitement. For Aaron, seeing her like this, strong, radiant, and full of life, filled him with a deep sense of pride and awe. The council had been summoned to witness the union. Some were skeptical, still unsure of the human who had so quickly become a part of Valeria's history. Others had come to respect him, admiring the courage and ingenuity that had saved the princess and upheld the honor of their planet. As Aaron approached, he felt the weight of countless eyes upon him, yet none of it made him falter. He had faced pirates, conspiracies, and impossible odds. This was different, but he was ready. Lyra stepped forward and their hands met. In that simple touch, they communicated more than words could express: trust, loyalty, love, and the promise of a shared future. The officiant, an elder of Valeria, began the ceremony, recounting the journey that had brought them together, the trials, the dangers, and the courage that had defined their story. Aaron listened, remembering each moment vividly: the pirate ambush, the council's conspiracy, the secret corridors, and the nights spent talking quietly under alien skies. Every challenge had tested him, and every test had proven that humans could face danger, think creatively, and act selflessly. And now it all led to this moment, standing beside the princess he had come to love. Lyra's voice was clear and strong as she spoke her vows. "Aaron, you came into my world without fear, without hesitation, and with a heart open to trust. You have shown me courage, wisdom, and love. I choose you, not because it is easy, but because you are worthy. I accept you as my partner, my equal, and my companion through all that may come." Aaron's heart swelled as he responded, "Lyra, from the moment I met you, I have admired your strength, your heart, and your wisdom. I have faced danger to protect you, and I will continue to do so for as long as I live. I choose you, completely and without hesitation, as my partner, my equal, and my love." A hush fell over the hall as the officiant pronounced them united. The words were simple but carried weight far greater than any title or ceremony. Aaron and Lyra had bridged the gap between human and Valyrian worlds, showing that courage, integrity, and love could transcend boundaries, customs, and doubts. As the ceremony concluded, the palace erupted in celebration. Music filled the air, blending human melodies with Valyrian instruments, a symbol of unity and mutual respect. Guests from both worlds danced, laughed, and shared in the joy of this extraordinary union. Aaron and Lyra moved among the crowd, greeting well-wishers, yet finding small moments for themselves, holding hands and sharing quiet smiles. Later, on a balcony overlooking the city, the two stood side by side, watching the lights twinkle below. The stars above seemed brighter, as if the universe itself celebrated their union. Lyra leaned her head slightly against Aaron's shoulder, and he felt the warmth of her presence. "This is only the beginning," Lyra said softly. "We will face challenges as always. Some may not accept us, and some dangers may still lie ahead. But together we can overcome anything." Aaron nodded, feeling the truth in her words. "We have already faced the impossible and survived." "I believe in us, Lyra. Humans are brave, adaptable, and determined. And I have learned that love and trust can be the greatest strength of all." She smiled, her eyes reflecting both pride and affection. "Then let us lead our worlds forward together." In that moment, Aaron understood that this was more than a wedding. It was a symbol of hope, unity, and the power of courage across worlds. Humanity had proven itself not just capable of survival, but capable of forging bonds, earning respect, and inspiring admiration in even the most advanced civilizations. As the festivities continued into the night, Aaron and Lyra remained close, two hearts from different worlds now joined as one. The palace had witnessed history, the stars had witnessed hope, and the universe had witnessed the extraordinary story of a human who dared to love an alien princess, and the princess who chose him in return. They knew challenges would come again, but for now they stood together, united by trust, courage, and love. In that union, humanity had shown its finest qualities: bravery, intelligence, loyalty, and the ability to inspire connection beyond worlds. The future was uncertain, but for Aaron and Lyra, it was filled with endless possibility, and together they would face it all.